All right, guys, we are back for our last week of 12 fiber gifts of Christmas. It has been a blast to share all these gifts with you. I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Amy.
And we are going to unbox our last fiber gift with you guys. All right, without further ado, I'm going to open it up and we're going to see what's inside.
Always my favorite because this one is the one that it keeps on giving, because every time you have one, you can keep looking at it, and the different parts of your journey in the crafts, you actually see things differently. So first book, it is books, is going to be Nature's Colorways. And I love the book because it actually goes through the history of dyeing. It actually gives mordants. It is great in terms of the history of the natural plants that you can use, and actually what's in your garden. It's not a heavy, thick book, so it's one that has very simple procedures in it, which I think is what would appeal to most people that are into nature. It's not a whole lot of fuss to it, but there is specific rules you have to follow. So great book to add to the dyeing shelf.
All right, my turn. So this book is Crochet Secrets from the Naughty Boss. It is fantastic. I mean, if you have any sort of question, anything like, how do I do this? How do I get smooth edges? Anything, troubleshooting, how to sew things on for amigurumi. This book is all about techniques, and it is basically, I don't want to say it's the crochet Bible, but it's pretty close. Like, I mean, refining your route, any question you have, honestly, you could just have this one book and it would probably answer any question that you have. Embellishing the edges, having a clean finish, color work, how to have like a smooth transition in your colors. You name it, it's in here. So this is a neat little book. Would even make like a good gift for somebody who might be starting out crocheting. I know that a lot of you guys have commented that you have, daughters, nieces, granddaughters, friends who are wanting to learn how to crochet, and this would be a great resource for them. So,
all right,
the next one.
Next book is Pretty Punch Needle. As everybody knows, I do punch needle, and I love this. This is actually pushes you more toward heavier yarns into an adjustable punch. What I really like about it is it gives great projects. So many people who start the craft don't know where to begin. So get the book, figure out what yarns you need, but it actually goes through each individual project. So each project, wall hangings to just regular pictures, but it talks about you can shear the yarn, you can do all kinds of techniques with it. But to me, this one does give great projects, which allow people to try different techniques with punch needle. And this is with heavier yarn, so Pretty Punch Needle. It's a good book.
I really want to do more punch needle next year.
Yes, it's beautiful. This one's great just because it's more contemporary. It gives you different objects.
All right. So we always try to do a couple coffee table books. And so this year we picked, this thing is heavy.
Beautiful book.
It's a beautiful, beautiful book. It's called In Search of Wild Silk, and it goes through types of worms. It goes through the weaving process. I mean, this thing is chock full of information. So if you are interested in learning about, natural fibers, and especially like the history of it, chapter 1, welcome along the journey. And it goes through the people who harvest them. It's very much a cohesive book, not only about the silk and the weaving technique, how they spin it up, but it's also about the people who have been doing this for generations. So this would be a wonderful, if you have any interest at all in the sociology part of crafting, this is a good book to have. And it is definitely one you can leave on your coffee table, and it's not going anywhere. I think this book is, feel that.
Yeah. It would spark a lot of conversation too, if you're one into this kind of spinning and knowledge of silk.
It's beautiful.
That's a great book.
All right.
All right. So this next book, so a lot of people know I'm a weaver too, as well as a puncher, but I've always had this book, and mainly because I do a lot of rep weave, and I have multi-shaft looms. What I like about this book is a 4-shaft, which most people don't realize what you can actually do on 4-shaft. This one is geared toward 4-shaft, but what I like about it is the colorway. The color work is what makes people think it's much more than just 4 shafts. So in this, you can see on different colorways, beautiful things, but it also says, and I had to mark the page because it says 4 block patterns on a 4 shaft. So learning how to do that is very important just with the color work. The other thing that I really, really like about this book is that it actually gives the threading in the colorway. So if you're doing red, black, this is what it tells you instead of saying 1, 2. So very much if people are used to seeing color in the drafts and the warping plan, great book. Highly recommend it. You could do wonderful runners, wonderful placemats. Great book.
All right. We'll keep it rolling. Okay. So this one you guys might be familiar with. This one has been super popular around here and for good reason. It is gorgeous. It is Knitting with the National Parks. And so there are 63 patterns for beanies inspired by national parks. And I mean, if you like Capitol Reef, Utah, let me see if there's some other ones in here. I mean, it's just, you know, Theodore Roosevelt, and then there's bears on it. I mean, if you are wanting to step into color work next year
and beanies,
and you know, you don't have to make a whole sweater. This one's Virgin Islands with the little palm trees. So if you're not ready to commit to doing a color work sweater, this would be really good for you. And I think that she also has another book out now called Knitting California. So there's like a whole bunch of stuff like landmarks in California.
But this one's the national parks.
But this one's the national parks.
Yeah.
And then this was like the Hawaii volcanoes. It's just stunning. I mean, I wish I could knit better, but if I ever did, I would definitely be buying this book. But
right.
Yeah.
So the next book I'm doing is needle felting. I also do needle felting. I think once you're in a craft, you end up actually in all the crafts. But this is the needle felting book, and it's, once again, it's cute projects. So it says actually 20 projects. So in this, once again, if somebody is starting this craft, doesn't know where to begin, this one actually can start out, which I like about it because it begins very simple. And as you progress, it's got like the steps that go with it. So you can continue on and then you'll eventually make something. This one is a little mushrooms with a little seated place that it sits on. Once again, you've got Easter eggs. You've got the little snow globe. This one, flowers. And of course, these are like little finger puppets. Great. But once again, they're covering different aspects of needle felting. So I think this is a great book for, once again, beginners, but it's also good for people who do this and they need a little, tutorial on something specific. So needle felting, great book too. Rabbit's just too adorable.
I know. All right, we're gonna switch gears here. This book, listen, I am not a spinner, but everybody in the shop who spins loves this book. Mm-hmm. It is the Spinner's Book of Yarn Designs. And I flipped through it and this thing is full. I mean, it's got dealing with
great
twists,
pictures,
perfecting chain plying. There was some other stuff back here about doing different types of hand spun yarn. Beaded, adding beads. I think that this would be kind of the spinning equivalent to the crochet book, like literally any sort of troubleshooting, teaching techniques, how to do a beehive, how to do art yarn. I mean, this thing is comprehensive. And I think that it would make a great tool on any spinner's bookshelf, and something that you can come back to. Oh, I forgot. The coolest thing about this is that in the back there are 64 reference cards. So it actually, do you see that?
I do.
It actually comes with cards, so that way you can have them, while you're spinning or anything like that. It's got a pouch and everything. It's super nice.
Great book.
So yeah, another great book to
and
add
we
to your
do
shelf.
sell that one all the time.
Yeah, this one is super popular. We can never keep it on our shelves, but we wanted to treat you guys this year and put it in our lineup. All right, so the next one?
Yes, I do. This one is a new book, and everybody that's come in on the Fridays that I've talked to, and they do tapestries. This is called Tapestry with Pulled Warp. And I have to say, very neat book. I bought it myself. Doesn't take long for me to like a book as soon as it comes in. But the reason I like this book is it actually gives a different spin on tapestry. You're actually making more of a three-dimensional tapestry versus the flat two-dimensional tapestries. And let me explain this on one page right here. So this is an example here. And what they've done is they've added paper divots that are in between. And then once it's done, then they're able to pull the warp, hence pulled warp. And that allows for the piece to actually move. So if you're into tapestries, or if you're not into tapestries, this gives some different three-dimensional effects. They show you how to frame them, put them on different things. I mean, it would make a beautiful wall hanging and things on this one. Great examples of different people in this. But it's amazing just how they've achieved a three-dimensional look. And it actually is three-dimensional. So highly recommend this book.